let's kick in. G'day race fans, episode 3 of the RaceNuts podcast. Bit of a short one this week. We've got a bit of Nascar, a bit of IndyCar to float through, F1 testing, Super Series at Winton, a look at the Race of Champions, and then a bit of news at the back of the episode. Ash, mate, how you going?
I'm going good, mate. As you said, we're going to be having a short one because we haven't had... I think we're at a point in time where we're currently looking maybe more forward than backwards. So it's hard to talk about a lot of stuff. And, like, as we have both discussed just prior to the podcast kicking off, there hasn't been a weekend where I think either of us have been, like, home properly or anything. So we've just been flat pack, struggling to catch the racing.
There's not. We're in that still sort of pre-season. Like Supercars have kicked off, a couple of Australian local categories have kicked off.
Yeah.
But once Formula One and a few other internationals really get going, we'll have a lot more to chat about.
Yeah.
But did you catch much of IndyCar or NASCAR this weekend, mate?
I caught none of it, bar you sending a message with Shane Van Gisbergen's current running situation as to where he was in the field. IndyCar, nothing. I couldn't even...
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the St. Petersburg Grand Prix. I feel like I saw that. Oh, am I right in saying that? St. Petersburg?
Yeah, it was the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg.
Yeah, so that much I know, and that's it. I haven't been watching what's happening in America at all.
Yeah, well, I watched the highlights, but I sort of had stuff going on around that, so I didn't really get to see much of the highlights of the St. Petersburg Grand Prix. I was hoping to watch the full race replay because they do put those on YouTube, but they haven't made those available for us yet, and I can't be stuff fucking around my VPN because the VPN won't let my messages work. Anyway, but I'll just run for the race results. We already talked about this on the rundown earlier this weekend, but Christopher Bell took out the race in Austin for NASCAR, followed by William Byron and Tyler Reddick. Shane Van Gisbergen finished 6th. He's big drama. I did get to watch a lot of that race through just good timing with work.
Yeah.
A lot of his dramas were for some reason the car wasn't getting good restarts. Also, they do a rolling restart, and every
revs in the engine weren't quite right or something.
I don't know what it was. He just went backwards.
Yeah.
And he was complaining about it. And it seemed to be a very clear. He put the foot down, and the car just did not have the pace.
Yeah.
And he was complaining at some point about some tyre not getting good grip with the front tyres.
Yeah.
But that seemed to be an issue that did go away over time. Where this, don't know if it was setup wise or an actual problem with the throttle or the engine. He just seemed to have problems, and then on the final restart, it looked like he might have had a hope because he went long into the final stage. We were hoping with a late caution, which he got. So he had 6 or 7 fresher laps than the cars in front of him when the caution was pulled.
Yeah.
And this is when he was running 5th or 4th, I believe. So there was a lot of tyres. He's got a lot fresher tyres. Obviously, he's had pace here all weekend up until now. Let's see what he can do. But then, again, a bad restart. He dropped to 10th, and then he got just stuck in a battle pack. So by the time he cleared those few cars, the leaders were up the road, and he was pretty much out of contention.
Right. I don't know what to say, as I didn't watch it. But... yeah, I mean, if your car's struggling on the restarts, then there's something... I don't know what the word is that I'm chasing. I know the word is, but, like... just...
It could be many things, but I doubt it was Shane's.
Yeah,
Shane's issue.
I mean, Shane knows how to put the right foot down and turn left, so...
yeah, so... this was at the Circuit of the Americas. This was a road course.
Oh, well, there we go. That's how little
Which
I knew
was
what was happening.
Which the track limits was bullshit. The only track limits there seemed to be is if you entered pit lane but did not proceed into pit lane. Like if you cut if you cut across the white line but didn't continue in.
Yeah.
But they were all the way out wide in turn 1, like cutting it. They were cutting every corner. It was only a half track of the normal Grand Prix circuit because they shortened it this year for simplicity.
So it was So track limits bar pit lane white line were just a
Yeah,
suggestion.
non-existence.
Yeah.
Non-existent at all. Moving on to a bit of IndyCar action. Scott McLaughlin, after signing a new long-term deal, I think he just signed 3 years of Penske. Had a big off in practice, but then came back, put on pole. Not really sure. I think he just went backwards over time and strategy from the start. So he did finish 4th in the end. Alex Palou did win the race, followed by Kiwi Scott Dixon and Joseph Newgarden. Aussie Will Power finished 26th. I think he just qualified poorly and finished poor. Oh, no, sorry, I'll take that back here. I believe he was caught up in an incident early in the race.
You tell me, mate.
Well, I can't because I didn't watch it. I'd watch the highlights, but I wasn't paying attention. So that pretty much takes us from the States. Now, we also had F1 testing.
Yes, at Bahrain.
In Bahrain. First time we got to see Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Nothing really big to report yet. There was a lot of weird things happening. So the FIA, there was a full power outage at the track, which delayed day one running at the end of day one running for an hour.
Yeah.
And apparently, one of the journalists I was listening to on the race podcast was saying how, and they were on the ground obviously, saying how one of the big wigs in Formula One were in the media lounge because the media lounge had lost its telemetry and power, which apparently this is not such a uncommon thing. Like, can you imagine all the things happening in Formula One, all the mass amount of energy being used? Apparently, it's not that uncommon to have like something that's less critical, such as the media area lose its power or lose its communications or some of that. Obviously, prioritizing the officials and the teams over everyone else.
Yeah.
But he said that he just been in there for an hour and a half trying to fix that and had walked out in quite a huff to go back to the FIA area, at which point the entire power of the circuit went out, including all the floodlights. Luckily, there was no cars on track. And then he goes, he just stopped, turned around, and calmly walked back in. So that happened, and then on day 2, a bus entered the fucking runoff.
Oh, minibus, yeah.
Yeah, which apparently, again, from the race, they were explaining, apparently it's around the back of that corner, it's very easy. There's like a tower there, and it's, if you go left of the tower, you'll end up between the back of 2 corners. If you go right of the tower, you end up straight on the circuit.
Oh, okay. So if you don't know your way around, you're gonna.
It was one of the casual transportation buses like that goes around every racetrack. Apparently, oh mate, must have just had a brain fade. It happens.
Yeah.
Luckily, only Oliver Bearman was on track, I think, at the time, which a lot of weird things for Oliver Bearman. Obviously, he was on track when that happened.
Yeah.
I think on day 1, a stone or something flicked up from his tyre and smashed the start lights on the start-finish straight.
Oh, God.
So there's a red flag for that.
That's the chances of that happening are minuscule. They're like non-existent.
And out of all the things they've hit the start lights. Yeah. I don't know if it hit the start lights. I think it hit the actual square board above them that acts as a second flag.
Yeah.
As a digital flag.
Yeah.
And then you also cause another red flag when the bodywork ripped off on the Haas.
Yeah.
Which apparently was something that happened to Esteban Ocon during the shakedown.
Okay.
Which there's no footage, obviously, the shakedown happened privately, but I was saying, the exact same issue happened to Esteban Ocon, so obviously there's something about that bodywork that is a little bit vulnerable to the airflow. I'm sure that's getting fixed right now, especially now that's happened twice.
Yeah.
Once is a fluke, twice isn't a problem. Oscar had a run-in with one of the, I think it was Nico Hulkenberg in the Sauber. By the sound, Nico was on slow lap, Oscar was on fast lap, and by looks of, from what I saw the incident, Nico took the corner a little bit tighter than what you'd sort of expect. Not like cut him off, just took it a little bit tighter on exit.
Yeah.
And Oscar went a little bit wider than what he thought of, and that was just a 1-2. It wasn't a big hit, it was just a nudge. Both drivers kind of sort of coming early. Nico sort of got out of it as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So no harm, no foul. Geez, the RBs do look good this year. I'm just looking at a photo of it on the Formula One website. The RB looks fucking great. Should have a number 3 on the side, but that's for another day. I don't think there's much really to talk about with testing numbers. They don't really mean anything.
No.
So I think that's really all there is really to discuss here. I think Fernando Alonso was showing some displeasure with the Aston Martin. I'm going to quote the race podcast here because they do a great. They were doing a great post day podcast every day of the setting, and they were saying even they noticed. No, sorry, not the Aston Martin. The Sauber was very stiff even for these new aero cars. And the drivers were kind of admitting of that, but not to the point of outright saying it.
Yeah, okay.
And that's all we really got to say. They're off the map. We're actually no longer off Formula One as we shared from the Grand Prix earlier today. We're recording this on Wednesday. Formula One has landed in Australia. The first of the air freight packages are at the circuit.
I might have seen one of the cargo planes actually that dropped it off, landing somewhere. I think they were going to Avalon, but I feel like there might be some going to Melbourne International.
They want to go on Tullamarine because all international goes to Tullamarine.
Yeah, so because I was working around Middle Park, which is right next to Albert Park, and all day I heard a single plane overhead, and then out of nowhere, just this huge cargo plane. I jump on Flight Radar to have a look at it, and it looked about right from wherever it was coming from. I couldn't tell you by the flag, and then also out of nowhere, it must have caught a lot of people's attention because on Flight Radar, I was saying it's in the world number 3 most tracked flight at that moment.
Oh, in that case, was it a 747 or was it just a generic plane?
Big plane.
But did it have 4 engines or was it 747 or not, Ash? This is very important. Because everyone would track a 747 because they're awesome, but if it's been tracked by a lot of people on Flight Radar, could have been.
Well,
but you'll notice in a few days when whenever Max flies in on his private jet, because that lit up my app last year. I got a notification of there's a plane in your area that's been tracked by X amount of people. I was like, what the fuck? And it was Max Verstappen's private aircraft.
Oh.
Which people would say, oh, that's an invasion of privacy. Brother, he's got his fucking logo painted on the side.
Yeah.
A lot of private aircraft's going to have fucking nothing on the side.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think we've got nothing really more to discuss about F1 testing.
Yeah.
So what else do we got?
Keeping it to our shores, I believe we're on to Super Series now. Ran at
we
Winton
dropped in for
Raceway.
dropped in for a few hours at Winton. Unfortunately, we couldn't stay longer or come back Sunday. We had prior arrangements we couldn't get out of.
Yeah.
But no, we stopped in for a few hours there, watched some practice, watched some qualifying, caught up with the boys from LTM and their mate who's running the hypercar.
Yep. Well, yeah, Ivan. I don't want to say his last name because I'm just gonna butcher it. It might be like Vantigo. As I said, I'm gonna butcher it. But yes, he had got himself a hypercar to race for the weekend, and I believe in qualifying. This is all for LTM socials. This is how we know in some depth of what they were actually getting up to. He was running 5th in qualifying at some point, which is a really good outing. I think he's only tested there once before at Winton Raceway, and it's not a bad fucking job to go 5th at any stage in qualifying, being your first time there.
Yeah. So anyway, no, it was a good little weekend there. Wish could have stayed around more. Got quite a good few set of cars in the little museum they got there. They got Jason Richards Commodore from BJR.
Yeah.
But I noticed too they got a road going Commodore Ute that set the world record in 2003 for the fastest production car Nürburgring lap.
And we also saw on their plaque of the fastest short lap, we saw that Mark Larkham had made a dent back in.
It still holds it. Still holds a short track record.
Still holds it. They just really mustn't run it that much because you would think over time with
I
technology.
don't think so. Either that or they don't update
The
that
park.
timber board that much.
Yeah.
Either either.
But still, current record holder as far as that board is concerned, Mark Larkham.
Yeah.
I wish I got a photo of it now because I would definitely tell you what car he was in and everything. But I'm ill prepared. So we're just going to have to move on.
Right, so let's move on to Race of Champions, first time here in Australia. Kicks off Friday and Saturday. My understanding is Friday's the National Cup, which is 2 drivers in 2 teams of nationality.
Yeah.
And Saturday is individual drivers.
Yeah.
With a tiered system. So I think last year's winners get an automatic entry to the next round where everyone else has got to go through a round system to go through. So I'm going to go through. Actually, I know you got a bit of a news story come up with all this with a couple of drivers that
a couple
have tapped out.
Yeah, a couple of ins and outs.
So I'm going to read out the original entry list. This is in the team setups, but keep in mind every one of these drivers will also compete individually.
Yeah.
Or most of them will, I believe so. So starting off with Team Germany, 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel and Mick Schumacher, son of Michael. Team Australia, 5 or 7? Shit. Multiple time supercar champion Jamie Whincup. 7, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought.
What the?
No, I thought I might have been getting myself mixed up because I just said Michael Schumacher. Anyway, so 7-time supercar champion, 5-time Bathurst winner, I believe. Or if not, maybe a couple of times more.
The all-knowing flag.
The all-knowing flag.
Yeah.
It must be 5. It must be 5 because I'm up there in 6. Jamie Whincup with Will Brown for Team Australia. And Team Australia off-road, I don't know why we got 2 of them, but we do. We got Molly Taylor and Toby Price. Obviously, Molly Taylor's won a few championships here in the Australian rally scene, and then I believe she won the what's that electric thing that Lewis did a few years ago? Extreme E.
Yeah,
is it?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, she won Extreme E with Nico Rosberg's team.
Yeah.
And obviously Taylor Price has won Dakar a couple of times and multiple other motorbike off-road titles and in cars, but primarily motorbikes.
Yeah.
In Team New Zealand, we got Hayden Patterson and Lewis Sharp. To be honest with you, I don't know anything about those bikes. Good luck to them.
Yeah. Good luck,
Team USA, Travis Palestrina? Pastana? Fuck off. Don't give me shit for this.
I believe it's Travis Pastrani or something like that.
No. And then, I don't know anything about him. I'm sorry, mate. Kurt Busch.
Whoa. If it's who I think it is, Travis Pastrana?
Yeah.
Mate, he is like America's Toby Price.
Oh, there you go.
So, he's a big wig.
So I thought he might have been someone from Sprint Cars, because Sprint Cars is obviously huge over there.
Nah, I think he does like a lot of rally and all that. Like, he's big off-road and everything, but like he's...
I reckon I know most of the NASCAR drivers, at least know their names.
Yeah.
That's where the next one comes from. Kurt Busch, also big on the NASCAR scene, does a bit of Sprint Cars himself. I believe he's won a couple of titles, but I'm not a big NASCAR guy, so don't quote me on it. Team Norway, that won last year, but I'm not sure if these guys won together. We got Peter Solberg and Oliver Solberg. I believe they're related.
I mean, what are the chances?
What's the chances? But also it's Norway. Like, I think their country's the size of Tasmania, split in half.
What's that inclining there, Dan?
It's a small place.
And what does that mean?
I'm not applying anything, mate. It's a small place. Oh god, you want to have a crack at Team Sweden? Because I'm just going to write that off.
You know, funny little story is I don't have this sheet up that you're looking at.
No, I thought you did.
Peter Solberg is a rally and rallycross driver, nicknamed Mr. Hollywood. I'm just on his thing, and he's 50. So, and What titles does he have? I don't see any titles so far. Oh my god, he's fucking huge though. But he was prime around like the 2000s, and then he slows down after like 2010.
I seriously thought you were gonna say for corners.
That doesn't even make sense, but okay.
Slows down for corners, mate.
I mean, he probably doesn't, being a Norwegian rally driver.
True. Probably just flicks it out and like just makes it happen. If you look to the messages in the podcast app, I've sent you these two names. I very much would like you to read out, so I don't have to butcher them.
Said the podcast.
Or at least so you could butcher them instead.
The podcast, okay. Where
the first time we've ever used this feature ever.
Let's see. Holy mother of fucking god. Okay.
We gotta start like reading this shit before we start recording, man. Damn it.
We're doing it live.
We're doing it live.
Yeah. So these are two different names. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So we got.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Johan Kristoffersen and Matthias Ekström. I feel happy about that. I think that's Johan.
Johan Kristoffersen. That sounds familiar. That does sound like a familiar name. Now that I hear it, instead of trying to summon it like a
trying to
Harry
make the
Potter
rug
quiz.
Float. So who is he?
Swedish race driver. I can figure that one out. Google. Thank you.
So.
I'm seeing rallycross here. Oh yeah, World Rallycross.
Holy shit! He's done a bit of driving.
You would hope so. He's in the Race of Champions.
Yeah, so it's good. I think everyone who's in this Race of Champions probably has a good bit of caliber to them. That is my observation.
Yeah, I think a lot of them two are actual champions by the sounds of it.
Oh, I feel like that would have to be. No,
Mick's not.
Take it.
Coulthard's not. The few others I'm looking at here are not. Right, I'm just going to quickly move some Google pages because it's making my laptop fit out because I've got about 40 of them open. So let's move on to Team France, Sebastian Loeb and Victor Martins. Now, Sebastian Loeb, I do know he's a rally driver, won a few titles, I believe. Let's have a quick look. Say Google would be great.
No.
Has he won any titles?
It'd be too easy.
Yeah, okay, yeah, he's won a few titles, mate. 9.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Is that 9 of the same title, or like as he built?
9 back to back.
Holy mother of
in World Rally. He 2004, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012. I think he might be good at rally.
I think he can steer. Is he? I'm probably very wrong here, but I remember one time we were just having a chat. It might have been Colin McRae the quote came from, but it's like someone said that they don't actually listen to their co-driver; they just drive the road as they see it.
I think Pop used to do a bit of that too.
Yeah. So someone in the rally world once said that. And then, like, I think they got in a heap of shit for it because, like, everyone was like, well, what the fuck are we all doing here, then?
You're listening, boy.
Yeah.
You're on for the ride.
Yeah, just...
I would happily sit in a car, because there'll be a few people who do that only have a navigator so they can race in that category.
Yeah, yeah.
Without, what's what I'm looking for here?
I don't know, you tell me, mate.
Don't know, never mind for you about it.
Move on.
Moving on to Victor Martin. That's what I was looking up. So I just want to say Victor Martin's definitely in Super 2, Super 2, Jesus Christ, and my laptop just froze. And we're back. I should not have so many pages open.
Some fucking tabs for right now.
So I know he definitely used to be in Formula 2 and Formula 3. I just want to see if he still was, because I'm pretty sure he's tapped out.
I think
he's
maybe
left.
last season.
Oh no, he's debut current team. Well, it says current team, so he must be he must be in at the moment.
Must.
In Formula 2.
Yeah.
I know he's definitely a race winner.
Yeah.
I think he was in a good fight for the championship a couple of years ago in Formula 3. Definitely racing this year. Only won the Euro Cup. Won Euro for 2020 Formula Renault Euro Cup. Jesus Christ. And he won Formula 3 in 2022, so he's a Formula 3 champion. Hasn't quite... And he's a junior for Alpine.
That was a rough
moving on to Team Britain, David Coulthard, obviously former Formula 1 driver with... Need that fan over me, so I'm cooking over here. Former Formula 1 driver with multiple teams, most prominently Red Bull. He still does quite a fair bit of the Red Bull promo stuff, like drives and stuff. Pretty much anything the drivers won't do, or what Ricciardo won't do now for money. Definitely won't be Perez doing it now.
Oh yeah, Perez is gone.
But Paddy actually, a friend of the show, Paddy messaged me the other day, going like, "Is he not like driving at all?" I went, "Nah," and he goes, I thought I would have noticed that. I'm like, "Nah, he's gone, man. Like, just disappear."
Yeah.
Anyway, so David Coulthard, multiple Grand Prix winner, long-time Formula 1, still in the Formula 1 space. He's teamed up with Max McRae, who is the nephew of Colin McRae and is a rally driver in his own right.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, Team Finland. Really, it should be Team Australia because it's got Valtteri Bottas. Obviously, again, another former Formula 1 driver. Did not land a seat for this year. Currently, he's the reserve back at his old team for Mercedes. He has 10 Grand Prix victories, if I remember off the top of my head. And multiple podiums from his time with Mercedes, a full-time driver. And is, by the sounds of it, the favourite to land a seat at Cadillac alongside an unnamed American driver for next season. And partnering him is, I don't know to say his last name, I don't know to say his first name, Kovalainen, which, if I remember correctly, he is also a former Formula 1 driver for a few years with, I think, one of the lower teams like Caterham, I believe, or maybe it was Sauber. And I believe or at least was for a few years, was in Formula E.
Good stuff, mate. Good stuff.
So that'd be great.
That's a big old lineup.
It's a big old lineup, and what's probably ruining my life at the moment is the fact that Speedcap's trying to play me a video that I can't turn off of Anton De Pasquale telling me things.
It's like when you walk into Bathurst and you have when Anton was with Shell and you walked out of like the fucking cargo container as you walk in, and like it's like, hey, it's Anton De Pasquale. Welcome to Bathurst. Let's go racing.
The funniest one about one of those was Adelaide. You weren't there for at the main gates. When I got there, because I accidentally got there an hour too early because I forgot about the time zone difference.
Yeah.
And it was just James Corney. Like, cause they were rotating for all the drivers, and all like, "Oh, I hope you're ready to race," or "Adelaide's my favourite place." And it was just James Corney every now and then going, "Here comes the jet." Nah, not yet. And I don't know why they kept breaking me because he just didn't give a fuck.
Oh fuck.
He apparently sold one of the CEO of Supercars' house the other day. God, James Corney. Speedcap, stop giving me videos. You're making everything slow.
He's in the trade. Website, mate. That's what you get.
No, you're telling me. Well, we're not journalists, mate, and we have no money, and we better have time to do this. Anyway, mate, let's roll into the news now. First bit of news we got here. Maybe a waves couple of days. I think it's a bit of a G-up. I'm going to explain why. But this is Mount Panorama is in the center of a traditional site grant to be marked as a sacred site by the Wurundjeri people. I'm just going to spell it because I'm never really good at saying these things, obviously. Wiradyuri, traditional owners, or the Central West Aboriginal Corporation is the people we're talking about here. Over McPhillamy Park. So this So the true story about this, and this is all a story that is second hand from Speakhouse reporting this, but this is all second hand from the Australian newspaper, which will explain why. Which I'm going to get a little bit why I think there's a bit of a jout. Now this whole thing goes over. In 2022 they seek permission to spread ashes of one of their community members, Uncle Ben, across this site that is McPhilmy Park.
Yeah.
Bathurst City Council granted that. We're expecting there to be no issues. Pretty much almost immediately, as reported by The Guardian, a application to make it a sacred site was placed immediately with the council. And that's where it's been. So this sort of been simmering along for 2 years since.
Yeah,
about 2 years. And hasn't really broken mainstream now. That hasn't gone any further. It's still an application to the governing body that handles heritage listings and sacred sites of Indigenous people. I'm trying to see if it's got here what the actual government body is called. If it's declared, I'm just reading through the article to make sure I get the right name of this joint. There we go. A submission was made to the Aboriginal Heritage Information Management System shortly after the ceremony was completed. And that's where it's at. Hasn't gone any further now. If this was to be marked as a sacred site, public access would be restricted, and it'll be pretty much you would have to seek permission of the local Indigenous people to be there in general, let alone host a motor race or camp there. Now, the reason why I think there's a bit of a G-up, I've said this a lot in my own personal messages and comments of me or just on Facebook. I think this is a G-up. One of those big media things they're making a big song and dance. They're obviously targeting comments from the less desirable people of our Australian community, saying the things you could all predict they're going to say about this. I think it's a G-up because on paper, by the looks of it, there's no chance of this happening. Like, there's no chance of this getting approved. This is not one of those. So it doesn't look to be one of those sacred sites where there's been a long time here. There seems to be they told the Bathurst Council they just wanted to spread his ashes, and then they've put this application in almost immediately. For what purpose that is, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say that this organisation has a thing against motorsport. However, they did successfully lobby against the go-kart track in Bathurst near the circuit. The first one. So I saw this going around Facebook as well, saying, they stopped the go-kart track, which is true, they did in 2021, but the recent go-kart track that was denied in 2024, they had nothing to do with. That was purely off noise concerns. So, like I said, I think it's a bit of a G-up, though. I think it's a G-up from both sides, a G-up from whatever they're doing. I don't know what games they're playing. I think it's a G-up from the media, most of all the Australian, who, this is where this whole story went viral on 2GB, which is owned by the Australian and by the Murdoch media, by and large. They typically love shit stirring this kind of culture war crap.
Yeah.
And that's all it is. It's just a culture war G-up. It's all to get everyone angry over it and comment and spread their articles around so they get more clicks and get more angry and more divided, and nothing will come of it. I'll be very surprised if we're talking about this at all in 3 months' time.
Yeah.
It'll be like, and that's why we're not going to do anything about it until it's an actual news, until it's actually that, like, the application will be put through to the next stage, or this becomes a real concern that we might have a problem with Bathurst because of this. We're not going to say anything about this because it's just a G-up. Yeah. It's just a shit stir. That's all it is, and that's all these culture war crap is. I'm not trying to get political or that. It just kind of shits me because we've seen it spread through the supercars community over the last 48 hours like wildfire. Everyone's getting up in arms about it and getting angry about it, and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's literally going to go. It's going to get knocked back by. It's going to get knocked back by the two committees. It's going to go through that heritage joint. Then it's going to go through the Bathurst Council, and then, probably Bathurst Council. I don't see them approving it because they've been quite clear in their interviews with the Australian and Speakcast that they're disappointed that they've been come to in false pretenses because there was no indication that this organisation was going to do this. And obviously Bathurst is their biggest the Mount Panorama is the tourist attraction. No one ever goes to Bathurst for any other reason other than Mount Panorama. So the council's not going to be too keen to have any issues with that. And then at the end of it, so the council's going to say no if it ever gets to them, and then it's going to go to court. So, and all the court things. So, even if there's, let's say, worst case scenario, and this actually happens, they're going to have it for 5 years by the time the courts get around to it, which I don't see the courts even approving it.
Yeah.
So it's
that's time, money.
It's the whole thing's a waste of time. Arguably, I'm proving my own point by wasting my own time by talking about it. But it's a non-story. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just a big G up to get everyone pissed off and clicking on articles and debating in comments and pushing algorithms.
Yes. So moving on to our next article. Thank you for that, Dan. We have got some news coming out on. We did just touch on the original lineup for the ROC Race of Champions that we had, and we do have a few changes to it. Mostly Australian supercar drivers stepping in. I couldn't find the article pertaining to Chaz Mostert, but there was a Swedish driver who couldn't make the round the weekend. So, and I believe, as Dan said maybe earlier, it's a part of an all-star team. So Chaz has stepped into that seat. And then we've also got Brody Kostecki taking Jamie Whincup's seat. Jamie is unfortunately out due to just battening down the hatches for Cyclone Alfred.
I was reading that all those supercar teams, because obviously we got Triple Eight in Brisbane itself.
Yeah.
And Matt Stone, Premier, and DJR on the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Apparently they're not concerned about the Cyclone too much, but they did bring all their car prep forward.
Oh, okay.
To be ready to leave at an earlier date if required. And as a truck driver, I can tell you, as long as they can get west of Brisbane, they can go out west and get to pretty much get to Emerald or Blackwater.
Inland
you'll be
highways.
well clear. Once you get to the Inland Highway, if you go Blackwater, down from Blackwater through to Emerald, then Lightning Ridge, Dubbo, etc., you're fine. So it's just a case of, as long as you still get out if you still go out to the west, you're reasonably fine to get out of Brisbane.
Yeah. So Kostecki said that his plans for this weekend coming were to watch the telecast of the race champions, but now he's racing in it, so I don't think he'll be as laid back on the couch, obviously. So there were a couple quotes. I'm doing a lot of this off my head because I did read it because I was like, oh, this is very interesting. He wishes all the best for Jamie Whincup, family, friends, everyone affected by Cyclone Alfred, and although it sucks for Jamie, Brody Kostecki's, he's like, I'm not mad about this. I'm not disappointed in a sense. Not in a cunty way. He said that he's happy to have the opportunity, and also he appreciates the invite, and Shelby Power Racing backing him all the way on it too. That was a big note he made, was thank you to the team for saying, go do it, basically. Okay.
It's kind of funny to see a DJR and a Team 18 driver, not 18, sorry, a Team Triple Eight driver together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And circling back to the Chaz Mostert, I know that team has been renamed to Team All Star, so they'll still be racing as a team and all that, but they won't be representing a nationality. They'll just be Team All Star.
So they were representing Sweden, is that right?
Yeah, so it's Team Sweden's now Team All Star.
Okay, yep, all right.
To my understanding,
that makes sense. I mean, because they're now flying more than one flag.
Moving on to a bit of the update on Toyota. So basically, Peter Zubris, who owns Premier Racing, has indicated that he has deals on table for either Toyota or to be the homologation team for Chevrolet with the Camaro, or what the next car will be, because they have also indicated in the last 24 hours that the replacement is not far away from being announced.
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be a Cadillac, but we'll see how we go. But a big thing behind him. So basically, the plan is that either he's going to be if he does get the homologation team, he's going to Toyota.
Yeah.
If they do get the homologation team, obviously going to stay with Chevrolet. They've brought Roland Dane, the founder of Triple Eight, on as an advisor.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's got huge ties to Chevrolet, and he's a big enough name in the sport. We do believe that Charlie Schwerkoff might have a similar arrangement, as there been the second car talked about in similar terms. So it's really between Team 18 and Team Premier Racing for either. Both teams have been talked about for a long time, going Toyota, and now they've both been long in the chat about homologation. Now, what makes this interesting, as from what I understand from listening to a few things and reading a couple of articles, Toyota is planning to have a big announcement at the Australian Grand Prix. We believe it's going to be at least an announcement of an extra team, to the point that over the Outspeak Cafe was saying that the liaison for Toyota and Supercars was speaking quite strongly that there will be at least four cars on the grid next year.
Yeah.
Not just two. So we'll wait and see. I think one party out of all four parties involved here, Toyota, Team 18, Premier Racing, and Chevrolet, one of those parties is going to pull the trigger at the Australian Grand Prix and say, well, here we have an announcement. This was the way we're going to be swinging.
I mean, that's a great place to make an announcement. The most motorsport the highest concentration of motorsport fans that Australia sees in one location.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's all we got to say really about Toyota.
Yeah. Staying with the F1 and Australian Grand Prix in a sense, where Dan just left us at, we have got two new Australian drivers entering the F1 Academy ranks. So we have got. Right, let me find. Oh gosh, why don't we've got Joanne Cisonti. I do apologise.
That sounds about right.
Cisonti.
I think it might be
Joanne Cisonti. Yeah. And was it this lady? So she's a 17-year-old teenager. She has joined the team MP Motorsport. That, from what I know and from watching F2 races, I believe that's actually quite a strong team. They've got I think they've got a dash of orange in their paint scheme livery.
Yeah, they typically run an orange or black car.
Yeah. So a quote from her is, to be able to race in front of large crowds and the Formula One stars during Grand Prix weekends is a dream come true. And to be able to do that with such an experienced team like MP Motorsport is all I could ask for. So she's very much keen on it. What the heck? She is contested in Australian Formula 4 and Australian Formula Open last season before heading to Europe, where she competed in the Central European F4 Championship and final two rounds of the Spanish F4 Championship. So she's done a lot of Formula driving, and I'm thinking that we may have bumped into her one day when we were floating around some paddock and sand. Like, we wouldn't have realised it, but I feel like that's someone
that's why we gotta get talking a lot more to these Formula 4 guys.
We don't realise how much driving they're actually doing overseas. We see them at Sandown and go, yeah, that's cool. You know, they're working their way up, but we're at Sandown. But look, that's just to keep their eye in. And another Australian driving in the F1 Academy. We've got Ava. I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name because I can't. As simply as that. I could give it a go, but I'm not going to. She actually comes from a caliber of racing as well within her family. Her mum was a successful go-kart driver. And that just was the springboard. I don't believe her mother or father or anyone went beyond go-karts. If they did, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, she comes from a motorsport background, so she'd been growing up with it forever, and her mum, I imagine, being a huge influence on that decision and trying to be a part of it. She has also she's partnered with Tag Heuer, the luxury watchmaker, who is the official timekeeper for F1 Academy. So it's it's one big thing for Tag Heuer now. They've got they're back in Ava, and yeah, they're the official partner and timekeeper of F1 Academy.
Yeah, that's a good. So I'm just trying to get the correct pronunciation for her name, but for some reason, Google translates spelling it to me. So just tell me.
Just wait till we
Oh,
hear
and
it.
Greek's not much better.
Wait till we hear it on a broadcast, mate. That's the only time.
It actually worked. I did this because we were going to record last night, and this was originally my story. And I had this all G'd up because I knew I was going to have an issue with this. And it worked prime last time. Why is it not?
Ava and Stoggs yes or something.
Maybe I put the full name down. I did just have her last name. Maybe I put a full name into it. Obviously, it must be a Greek background name because that's what it told me on Google.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
Google just wants to spell it out to me, which does not help me.
All the best.
Google, you've picked the wrong person to spell this out to.
All the best to Ava and Joanne. We'll be following you guys very closely. Hopefully, be able to watch some of the racing because I know it doesn't always make the broadcast as far as I know.
I think they got a deal with YouTube.
Well, that feels underwhelming. It's good for them, but feels underwhelming.
Alright, Dan from the future here. I felt a little bad we didn't quite get Ava's name right during the podcast. We tried to tab Google Translate so we could at least have a crack at it, but we couldn't figure it out because we butcher enough names on this show. But afterwards I realised, well, she does obviously have an Italian-Greek background. Her name is an Italian-Greek background sounding name. And luckily we've got an Italian-Greek bloke on staff, so I'm going to call our local expert. Hey mate, how you going? Not too bad. How do we correctly pronounce Ava's last name?
Ava's last name?
Yeah.
It's said Anagosti Artis.
Okay, I'm not even gonna have a crack. You might say that again, mate.
Fuck.
No, just the name, The
last name?
Yeah, just her name.
The whole name or the last name?
Whole name, whatever you want to do, man. You're the one on the phone.
Ava Ananostiadis.
Okay, that's our best crack at it for the whole show. You should see it. Me and Ash butchered it every time we had a crack. Thanks, mate.
No worries,
Yeah,
mate.
hopefully we got that right this time. If not, let us know. We will learn. Maybe. Anyway, back to the show.
So, yeah. Do we have anything else we'd like to chalk up, Dan?
No, this might. I'm still having a battle with Google Translate because now it's really starting to piss me off. Why do you want to spell it out to me? I don't need it spelled out to me. I can read letters, brother. I need to know how to say it. Okay, sweet. Well, I've got fucking LeapPad for a laptop. Before we leave the Formula 1 world, Aussie Christian Mansell did quite well in Formula 3 last couple of years. He had his first F2 drive late last year, I believe, at Abu Dhabi. Unfortunately, he is pulled out. This was going to be his first full-time F2 season. Unfortunately, he's pulled out of the Albert Park, out of the race at Albert Park. He hasn't stated a reason why, which is fair enough. That's his business, no ours. So that's a bit of a shame. Hopefully, whatever's going on in his world gets sorted out soon and we can meet him back on track.
Yeah. Just keeping to home soil as well, as before mentioned in the podcast, in terms of Jamie Whincup and whatnot. I believe we're good to wrap it up here, Dan. Am I right?
Yep. Go for it.
at the moment, Cyclone Alfred is barreling towards the coast of Queensland and North New South Wales, so South Queensland, North New South Wales. We just wanted to wish everyone all the best luck in dealing with it. Everyone's health and safety. Hopefully, you guys get through it. We just want to say all the best, and we wish we could help in some way, but we're down in Victoria, so it makes it a little bit difficult. So.
We'll wrap it up there, mate, and we'll talk to you all next week.